As the government of Rwanda last week signed a memorandum of understanding with Vuba Corp for the development of smart city mobility solutions. We earlier discussed with Paul Klein, founder and CEO of Vuba Corp, about, among other things, the solutions smart city mobility presents. Take a look.
Vuba is a smart mobility company, smart city mobility company, and essentially we use driverless electric vehicles to give non-stop rides throughout the city. So you could imagine using a phone app, similar to other ride sharing, or maybe you use a kiosk in the city and you request a ride, and within a minute or less, this driverless electric vehicle arrives and it takes you non-stop to your destination. And the way that it does that is we have an elevated, we call it a guideway, that lifts the vehicle and the people off of the street and out of any congestion. So it's a very quick trip across town that should be very reliable, very safe, and also affordable for everybody.
Okay. Tell us about the memorandum of understanding that you signed, and in particular, why Rwanda?
Sure. So we've actually been working here in Rwanda with the government for more than 2 years to get to this point. So it's a really big milestone that we're very proud of. The MOU basically establishes a commitment between us and the government that says, hey, we're going to partner on this new technology. This is part of a shared vision that we both have, and we're committed to one another to make this happen. It's established sort of a safe space for us to start as a startup here. We're also helping develop the startup ecosystem, which is exciting. And they're allowing us some exclusivity to develop the technology here as Rwanda made. It'll be Rwandan IP. And then, also some time for technology development, for planning out the project, and then establishing a public-private partnership to build out the project.
Is there a given time frame to this project?
Yeah. So immediately we will begin on the feasibility study. We're allowed up to 18 months to submit that to the government. And during the time of the study, we'll also be doing technology development here in Kigali. So we'll be establishing our our African headquarters here. We'll be developing a building and testing facility. So you could see that going on probably within the next several. There will be a lot of TVET for people.
To us about that, how will that be achieved?
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting part of this, because transportation in general seems to have difficulty raising a profit. Often it has to be subsidized by governments, and that is not the case with what we are doing. We are able to have driverless vehicles, so we can operate on demand in the middle of the night if needed. If a person needs a ride, we can send a vehicle. We're not having to pay a payroll, and so that can make it profitable. We're also electric, so we'll be using a lot of renewable energy. Some of that we'll gather ourselves through solar that's installed on our system, and then very low maintenance. So this combination of cost reduction makes us very profitable, and I think it's really going to change the world of transport.
Oh, and what are some of the solutions that the smart city mobility is going to provide as compared to the transport systems that we have currently?
Sure. Well, let me say that what we are doing is not intended to replace anything else. As far as problems that we will solve, just getting cars off of the street. Worldwide, we just have more and more cars entering the streets, and it becomes more and more difficult to expand streets. And here in Kigali, that's especially difficult because of the hills. Expropriating land, widening streets, it's just sometimes too expensive or not even possible. So we give an opportunity to build up. We'll pull cars off of the street. So one of our vehicles can potentially take 10 to 20 cars off of the street, and that helps tremendously with congestion. The other thing would be probably the environmental concern. Using renewable energy instead of fossil fuels. We can cut greenhouse gas emissions dramatically in the transport sector, and I think we can really help the country and, especially the Ministry of Environment reach these goals they've set for helping the environment.
Could you tell us who's financing the project?
Yeah, so we're doing things a little bit differently. We're trying to change the business model a bit. Our goal is to develop a Rwandan company. We're putting the company right here. We're developing the technology right here. We also want to create Rwandan ownership. Ideally, we would be able to achieve majority Rwandan ownership. And the reason for that is because as the company becomes profitable, we would like those profits to stay here in Rwanda and be reinvested into the community so that we can keep developing lives of the people here. So in light of that, we're holding part of the company equity for Rwandan investment, and hopefully we can achieve that.
Absolutely. Paul Klein, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure as well, and looking forward to all the deliberations in the future.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.